Magic mirror on the wall, who is the fairest of them all? Ah, curse you, Snow White! I'm Charles Renton with the retro review of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs from 1937. Arguably a tentpole in historic hand-drawn animation, because realistically, had it not been for this wild success of this movie through re-releases and the fact that Walt Disney said, I'm going to make this film happen even if it takes quite a number of months and years. I mean, really, this was conceived back in the earlier 30s, and with a $1.5 million budget rounded up, I think it was like 1.49999 infinite. That being said, that would be $33.2 million in today's money and through re-releases and a lot of success. Realistically, this is regarded as one of Disney's absolute best. Your mileage may vary. It is certainly a classic with many songs and based on the Grimm fairy tale Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. And boy, you read up on this goddamn one and see this, and man, back when women in the medieval ages had to cook and clean and basically wait for a prince to come all over them and wake them up from a coma, from a poison apple, from their evil stepmother, who fell off a cliff because she was stupid and didn't understand how physics worked. Ah, the 1930s, when animation was king. I also noticed that the way they designed the evil queen in this, not when she was a haggard individual, but also this and Maleficent in Sleeping Beauty, Disney kind of just copied their own designs. I will be retro-viewing some more Disney stuff throughout the year, and possibly next year. But yes, this is considered a classic. You have Adriana Casalofi, who voices Snow White. I do remember the voice, the singing voice writer, taking a little bit of getting used to, in all honesty. I'm wishing for these demon doves to kill me today. Yeah, I'm just going to kind of make some jokes about this, because if you don't know the tale of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, I mean, what the fuck? Man? I can understand if some people have not seen various versions of Snow White, and by the way, I decided to retro-review this because of the upcoming Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot starring version. I know what her name is. I'm going to make fun of her too. I'll get to that. I decided to revisit this. It holds up, even though Snow White is a goddamn idiot in this, to the point where I question how she got out of bed on her own without tripping over her own fucking feet. She falls for the fact that, oh, this old haggard individual shows up with an apple, and wait, what do you mean I get poisoned? What do you mean all this stuff happening? That third act is a lot more rushed than I remember. I mean, the movie itself is like 80 minutes, and like the first 90 seconds are opening credits. But nevertheless, the evil queen, Lucille Laverne, who's great, by the way, and the prince was Henry Stockwell, or Harry Stockwell, rather. I don't know who the fuck Henry Stockwell is. And it's a lot of fun. I mean, it just really is. Now, by the way, when they did get a re-release in 1983, it actually did have a $6 million opening, which would be $19.2 million in today's money. So even if the movie wasn't a raging success, it was a success at the time. Re-releases helped polishing the fact that this film is widely considered to be so influential as far as hand-drawn animation. I mean, really, do you need me to recount the goddamn story? I'm just going to talk about some of my favorite moments in this. Somebody did actually send me a short, and actually it does make a whole lot of sense, and maybe it was just unintentional, maybe it was intentional, that, Magnifico from Wish, at the end of Wish, sorry, I'm going to spoil it because fuck you, Wish is not very good, that he gets, he's obsessed with beauty, and he has, the mirror and stuff like that, and gets sucked into the mirror, and then you see the brief Peter Lorre-like mask. I just call it a Peter Lorre mask because that's really what I thought. I just kept picturing Peter Lorre as the voice of the magic mirror, and I couldn't take it seriously. But there's zodiac signs like he had on his cape, zodiac signs around the magic mirror. And the evil queen is like, okay, she's the fairest, fine, I'll get rid of her. And she has to do this in secret, despite the fact she's the queen, and there's literally nobody else in this fucking kingdom. I mean, to be fair, I don't think they really could have afforded to show all that stuff. They had to show more dwarves singing in diamond mines, and singing in cottages and stuff like that. And, you know, the more I think about this movie, the more I realize just how endlessly padded it is, in all honesty. But it's so fun. It's really so fun. The demon doves just made me laugh. Demon doves, white pigeons, whatever. The prince basically stalks Snow White, and I know that is something that people got upset at Rachel Zegler for saying. She's not wrong. Read up on this. Read up on the Sleeping Beauty Grimm fairy tale. That's even worse. I mean, I guess Grimm fairy tale really should have told us, but still. The queen says, my faithful huntsman, you will take her to the woods and you will kill her. That reminds me, I need to rewatch Snow White and the Huntsman. And here's this box. Bring back her heart in it. And the huntsman doesn't want to do it. So he doesn't do it because he knows that the princess is good. And also the fact that she's singing to a bird and a baby bird. And she's making it all happy. Because it lost its parents or just got bored and sat down on a rock. But, yeah. The prince says, just run away, run and hide, I can't do it. So, nevertheless, she runs away. I love the imagery of the forest turning evil because Snow White is out of her element. She's all confused, all horrified. The trees turning into, evil creatures and hands. The wood and the water turning into the alligators. I thought that was magnificently done, even for this day. And then she suddenly ends up all scared and passed out. And then the animals see her and say, oh my God, she's cool. She's one of us. Beep, 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 beep. One of us. I don't know why the birds were beeping like computers, but let's just roll with it. So, she ends up scaring the animals briefly, but then realizes, or they realize she's not gonna hurt them. To be fair, there are enough of them. I think they could take this idiot by just simply having her look the other way and pushing her off a cliff. But more on the cliff later. Oh, take me to this old house, she says, where I can live and it's shelter. And oh, it's this old dusty wrecked house and everything. And what is it? It's the dwarf's house. Remarkable amount of big stairs for short people. Randy Newman was right, by the way. There's like one person that's going to hate me for saying that. So, whistle while you work. I can't whistle, so I'm not going to because I'm such a jerk. But yes, whistle while you work, while they look for diamonds. Like that episode of The Simpsons. Diamonds! I forgot who that woman was. Was it Joan Gideon? No, I don't think that was it. So, she's having the animals help her clean up the house and everything. She puts a bunch of laundry on a deer. God, no wonder Bambi's mother got shot. She had so much laundry it was weighing her down. That's your little reference for, to tie all these things in together. Even though given this and given when Bambi happened, I don't actually think that's Bambi's mother unless she's a fucking immortal. And she wouldn't have been if she died. So, hi-ho, but enough about Snow White's, exploits. I kid, of course. Hi-ho. They are all, spooked by the fact that their house is clean. They're not very smart dwarves, though. Doc stumbles around on his words. I did note that Dopey was designed like that one particular scene of that Family Guy part where Brian and Stewie kept going to the different animated, stuff. There are different animated scenes. You know what one I'm talking about, and I'm probably right. Are they gone yet? Nope, put me back in. So nevertheless, Grumpy thinks that women are a poison. I mean, my God, Grumpy, come on. Not all of them. That's going to pretty much guarantee that any of the women watching are not going to watch this. I kid, of course. I love you all. Yeah, I just got to make jokes. Yeah, you need to wash up, basically. Snow White says, all this stuff is moving while the queen is just, there and wondering what just, thinking, oh, Snow White's dead, all this stuff. 7 men, 1 woman, you do the math. My God, Snow White must have been so sore she couldn't have stood up or sat on a bag of frozen peas, for a week without getting help. And I don't actually think that frozen peas existed back then. The Peter Lorre mirror basically says, oh, by the way, Snow White's alive. What do you mean she's alive? I have her heart here. That's a pig's heart. Well, goddamn, how the hell do you know this and I don't? So, I'll come up with some alchemy and make a poison apple, and I'll turn myself old instead of just giving yourself, How about you give yourself the old medicine and then give Snow White the old medicine instead of just poisoning her? Because then the prince won't want to kiss her. It's fine. It's fine. Logic loophole right there. I did note that the yodeling there in one of the cottage scenes, one of the cottage singing scenes, reminded me of the yodeling that was used later in the Price is Right game. I'm just having fun here at this point because it's an animated movie from like 80 fucking years ago. 90 fucking years ago almost. Good Lord. So, someday my prince will come. I mean, if he's having that much difficulty and it's the 1400s, 1500s, you probably got some difficulty. I probably need to find somebody else. They can unsheath his sword a lot easier. So, the poison apple. It can be, if she's poisoned, she can be revived by a lover's kiss or a stalker's kiss. Either or, really, depending on the story you believe. And Doc basically says, beware of strangers. We're going to go off to work. They're the only ones that seem to be working within like 10,000 miles, but it's fine. There's these demented vultures that just happen to be there. And you think that maybe they're watching out for the queen. They're watching the queen. Actually, I hate to say it, that's a nice little twist. And the birds are trying to tell Snow White, hey, no, this girl's evil. No, get away from this old lady. She's too fucking trusting, you dumb broad. Anyway, all right, moving on. That's an offensive term, but I don't really care. I did note the, you can't make a pie of just any flavor. It has to be pie flavor. So, animals show up to the dwarves' compound, working compound, say, hey, shit, be fucked, come back here. So they do. The turtle doesn't really do anything because the turtle gets, like, spun around. The apple ends up poisoning Snow White. Then the dwarves go all feral and bloodthirsty and chase the queen up the goddamn mountain. To be fair, she did poison their house cleaner and their friend. In that order, seemingly. And then the queen's like, okay, I'm going to knock this rock off and everything off of this cliff that's clearly sturdy enough for me to remove this giant rock. And then she falls to her death because the queen is really monumentally stupid in this. And then the vultures are like, oh, her body. And then the dwarves don't know what to do. They make a coffin out of glass and gold, and then the prince ends up reviving her because stalker love conquers all. And then the prince takes her away, and yeah, that's really about it for Snow White right there. I mean, read up on the IMDb page and read up and, like, watch documentary stuff about it. It is really fascinating, a lot of the stuff that they went through to make it. And the fact it was such a raging success is a testament to Disney's hard work and not hatred of a certain section of people. I actually don't know if that's true, but let's just run with the joke right there. That being said, still a classic, 100%, and one of the many reasons why Disney Plus is a good thing. Even if Disney doesn't want to create a lot of original animated content anymore, even though that's what basically their empire was built upon. What do you think of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs? Yes, obviously there are there are concepts of this that have not aged all that well, even in like the last nearly 90 years. And you could argue probably the live action remake is unnecessary except to keep the intellectual property under their umbrella. But that being said, let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, share, subscribe, Twitter, Letterboxd, Blue Sky handles in the description. I'm John Rethlin. I'll see you soon.